Hey everyone, welcome to week 10 of the college football season. We have a couple new conferences this week. We have the Pac-12 that's back. We have the MAC that's actually playing as we speak with Wednesday night MACtion. With that said, that means we have a lot more games to pick from and a lot more intriguing top 25 matchups. So with that said, my name is Mike Browning. I'm the host of the College Football Road Trip at CFBRoadTrip.com. Let's see if I can match or beat last week's 7-3 record. Let's get started with this week's picks. We're going to start off with a couple Friday night games this week. The first one is in the ACC. We have number 11 Miami traveling to NC State. Miami has looked pretty decent so far this season. Their only loss on the season is to number 1 Clemson. On the flip side, NC State struggled really quite a bit last week against North Carolina. I think their struggles will continue again this week. I have number 11 Miami winning over NC State in ACC play. Next, let's go to what could be a very good matchup, one of the best matchups of this week. We have number 9 BYU traveling to the blue turf of Boise State, who's ranked number 21. This is going to be an intriguing matchup. BYU is 7-0, ranked in the top 10. Boise State just getting started, 2-0 on the season. BYU hasn't had that much of a challenge so far this year so far, but Boise State has blown through their two opponents too. So I think this is a toss-up. I think that Boise State has a lot to play for. I think they want to show that they should be ranked higher than number 21, and I think they will this week with a slight upset win over BYU. I'm picking 21 Boise State over 9th ranked BYU. Next, let's move to our Saturday matchups. Our first one is in the Big 12. We have West Virginia traveling to 22nd ranked Texas. Texas is coming off their big overtime win over Oklahoma State last week, which is a bit of an upset, giving OSU their first conference loss. On the flip side, West Virginia looked great in their blowout win over Kansas State. This always comes down to what Texas team is going to show up. Will they fall behind and have to try to catch up? I think that's what's going to happen again this week. West Virginia has looked great the last week with that win over K-State. I think that's going to continue into this week. I have West Virginia with the win over 22nd ranked Texas in Big 12 play. Next, let's go to another matchup that at the beginning of the season probably didn't seem that intriguing, but we have 25th ranked Liberty, the Liberty Flames, traveling to Virginia Tech. Liberty is undefeated on the season. Their best win is probably over ACC Syracuse, but that doesn't mean much. They have a 2-point win over Florida International at the beginning of the season. This is their first big-name opponent that they're really playing. I don't really call Syracuse a big-name opponent this season. I think Virginia Tech's going to blow them out of the water, to be completely honest. I think Liberty had a great start of the season. No big-name opponents. It's going to come back to bite them this week. Virginia Tech will win pretty easily over 25th ranked Liberty. Next, let's go to Big Ten play. We have Maryland traveling to Penn State. Penn State is 0-2 on the season. Had that upset loss to Indiana in week 1. The loss to Ohio State last week. On the flip side, Maryland coming off a big win over Minnesota. I don't know if that really means anything or not so far this season. But I think Penn State, coming off of those 2 losses, has a lot to play for. I think they're excited to have an opponent they can compete with and win. That will show up big this week. Penn State will win at home over Maryland. Let's go back to Big 12 play, and the couple of opponents that we talked about previously as losers from last week. We have 14th ranked Oklahoma State traveling to Kansas State. Both of these teams coming off losses. Which team is going to bounce back? I still think Oklahoma State has more to play for, being the ranked team, only having 1 loss on the season. I think K-State was exposed last week in their loss to West Virginia. That's going to come back to be a big thing this week. Oklahoma State will win, and Oklahoma State will win pretty handily. 14th ranked Oklahoma State over Kansas State in Big 12 play. Next, let's go to our first Pac-12 matchup of the season. We have Stanford traveling to number 12 Oregon. Oregon is the team that the Pac-12 are putting most of their hopes on so far this season to be the team to try to make it into the semifinals. A few eggs might be in USC's basket, but Oregon by far and away is the team that everybody's hoping will be able to compete for that spot. That doesn't mean anything unless they win their first game of the season. I think they will. I think they will pretty easily this week. Oregon will win at home over Stanford in the first Pac-12 matchup of the season for both teams. Next, let's go to another Big Ten matchup between ranked opponents. You have number 23 Michigan traveling to 13th ranked Indiana. Michigan coming off their loss to Michigan State last week. That was kind of an upset that I really didn't see coming. On the flip side, you have Indiana that's 2-0 on the season, but really should they be 2-0 on the season? Both of their matchups were very close matchups. I think that's going to come back this week. Michigan has a lot to play for still. I think Michigan wants to show that they're not as bad as their loss to Michigan State showed. I think they will do it this week. Number 23 Michigan will win at 13th ranked Indiana in Big Ten play. Next, let's go to our two big matchups of the week. Starting off in the SEC, we have number 8 Florida traveling to number 5 Georgia. So who's going to win this matchup? Florida's only loss on the season is a 3-point loss to Texas A&M. Georgia's only loss on the season is to Alabama. But if you look at last week, Georgia only scored 14 points in a win over Kentucky. That's not going to get it done against Florida. They're going to have to score a lot more. I think they will score more, but I don't think they will score enough. I think Florida is going to score more points by the end of this game, and that means they will win this matchup. I have number 8 Florida winning over number 5 Georgia. And now, the big matchup of this week, a matchup that I'm a little sad about because it's a matchup I was supposed to be at this week before the pandemic hit. We have number 1 Clemson traveling to number 4 Notre Dame. Both of these teams are undefeated. Took a little while for Clemson to pull away last week. Notre Dame has struggled a little bit in first half so far this week. Last week, the Trevor Lawrence not playing did not really hurt Clemson at the end of the game. I think it will hurt them this week, especially on the road. I think Notre Dame's going to find a way to win this matchup and finish this week undefeated, while Clemson will have their first loss of the season. I have number 4 Notre Dame winning at home over number 1 Clemson. So those are our matchups. A full slate of games this week. I'm really excited. MAC games going on this week. Really good Friday matchups. Full slate of Saturday games. Go out. Enjoy the games. Go see them all. We will talk to you again next week. We'll see how it goes. Have a great week, everyone. We'll talk to you later.